he heard the noise music of the piano. So he fell in love with her through, first of all, hearing her play the piano coming through the window. But what was really strange is that his guardian, because his mother had left him in charge of the guardian, the Catholic guardian, said that because this young girl was not Catholic, that he should not be able to see her at all. And he told my grandfather and ordered him not to do so. And my grandfather did what he was told, and he broke it off, and he never saw her again. And this went on for 3 years. And she went to a little town called Cheltenham, and she became engaged to a local man. And he'd been ordered not to have any contact with her until he was 21. And then, on the day that he was 21, the very night, in Exeter College in Oxford in 1913, he wrote her a letter after 3 years of complete silence, and said that he wanted to get back together with her. And then went down to Cheltenham the next day, made her break off her relationship, and married her. So, these are very traumatic experiences for a young man. And of course, the next year, everything changed, because the First World War broke out. And he went in 1915-16 to the Somme, where all but one of his friends died. And I've been to battlefields in France and indeed in Belgium. He fought in France. He was a signals officer. So when they were laying telephone lines, he would have to run over to the trenches that had just been secured, the German trenches, and lay the lines back down. And I've seen the graveyards, very quiet in the December stillness, where his friends are buried. So I think I found out all this, and I also thought of his experience as a writer, and I guess becoming more comfortable in my own skin as a writer myself, and feeling that I had an identity of my own, that I came to kind of see him in a different way. And it was strange, because in the last year I've read The Lord of the Rings to my daughter, Anna, and which we love, and I read it aloud. I think it's really important to read aloud to your kids. And I was really moved by it in a way I hadn't been before, because I felt close to him, not only knowing about his life, but because I think I'd managed to throw off a lot of the shackles that had bound me down, and was able to see him more for what he was. And I think that if you read The Lord of the Rings, and you know about his life, and that early part of his life, I think a lot of it kind of makes more sense. Because The Lord of the Rings is, in a sense, a very sad book. When the One Ring disappears into the fires of Mount Doom, the other rings, which have kept alive so much that is beautiful in Middle-earth, pass away. And the whole idea of Middle-earth is that all that is magical about it and elven is going to disappear. Even at the beginning of it, in the evening, you can hear the elves moving through the trees in the woods going into the west. It's a passing world. And when Frodo comes back, the hero from his quest, he is not some kind of action man. He's in a sense ruined by his experience. He's unable to live, unable to participate, and he too goes into the west. The overall tone is sad, I think, and stems from an early life which was exceedingly scarring and sad. So, I think perhaps what is interesting is that the happiest point in Lord of the Rings is Tom Bombadil, who exists outside time, because time itself is passing and declining. So, all this, I guess, is about my experience, and starting off with this famous man on my shoulder, not his fault, and then working out how to deal with it, trying to become creative in my own right, for good reasons or bad reasons when these movies started, having some success, which I felt happy about. I feel good that I've got something outside of me, because We all feel this. If you've got a book, and it's good, and it's outside of you, and it's published, it's wonderful. It's worth anything. And then being able to look back on my grandfather and my circumstances and what framed me, and see how these events, perhaps in unconscious ways, were doing good and pushing me in good directions, even when I felt straitjacketed by them early on. And that's my story. So now, there we are. I'm done. John? I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do from there, whether we're out of time or not. This gentleman sitting here who needs to tell us.
You're on. I guess.
Are we done?
We're done.
Good.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you very much, Simon, for that very revealing talk. It was very helpful. A lot of insight. We have some time now. We're halfway done. Can you believe it? I hope you're having a great time and finding a lot of inspiration. This afternoon we have the third breakout session